Today's episode is brought to you by the Positively Productive Toolkit, a collection of workbooks that guide you through self-discovery and self-awareness. These self-guided workbooks, which include links to assessments, can be completed in minutes. Request this free resource and others at the positivelyproductive.com/resources page. Productivity isn't the problem. The problem is the mindset and systems we've attached to it. So let's change that and reclaim what's good. For me, productivity is simply a tool. It's a way to help you do what matters most in a way that feels right and sustainable. It's not a measure of your worth, not a moral judgment, not a finish line you're supposed to cross to earn your place. That's why we talk here about shame-free productivity. It's an approach that asks, how can we create systems that support us, not punish us? How can we work with our energy, values, and goals instead of against them? You're listening to the Positively Living podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Zaratny, founder of Positively Productive Systems and a productivity coach certified in positive psychology and stress management. Join me as we explore ways to live a more proactive, positive life with episodes on productivity, self-awareness, mindset, entrepreneur life, habits and systems, simplicity, fun, and more. I understand overwhelm personally as a multi-passionate entrepreneur, wife and mom to kids and cats, and as a caregiver. I'm here to help you choose what's right for you so you can do less, live more, and breathe easier. Sound good? Let's get to it. Welcome to the Positively Living podcast. I'm your host, Lisa, and today we're looking at productivity in a different light. Productivity is something we all strive for, but just like most things in life, there is a duality. We see it as a positive thing, but is there a time when productivity isn't actually good for you? Short answer, yes. I know that may sound strange coming from me, a productivity coach, and someone who's built a business around helping others work and live more efficiently and effectively. To be clear, productivity itself isn't inherently bad or good, but there is a dark side to it when it comes to the mindset we attach to it. That's what can make it dangerous. I was reminded of this idea earlier this year when I guested on another podcast. The host kept repeating the phrase, productivity is dangerous. And it made me uncomfortable. I bristled when I heard that, especially because she was interviewing me as a productivity coach, and it sounded so negative. It felt unfair and like I needed to defend productivity somehow because the way I approach it is the opposite of dangerous. It's supportive, compassionate, and freeing. But then I realized what she was actually referring to as someone coming back from burnout, so I could understand why she was thinking this, is that it's not productivity itself, but the cultural perceptions and conditionings that force us to go beyond our limits in the name of being productive. That's what she dealt with in the corporate world. That's what I dealt with myself. And even as a caregiver, I could feel that pressure, and that's why I do what I do today. So that idea of when it can get dangerous for us is what I want to focus on today. We've discussed this concept, often referred to as hustle culture, in previous episodes. But today, I want to highlight where that mindset comes from, who it hurts the most, and finally, how we can redefine productivity in a way that's truly good for us, which is what we talk about in every episode essentially here. It's what Positively Productive Systems is all about, and the Positively Living podcast is shining a light on. When we talk about productivity being dangerous, we're really talking about the beliefs we attach to it. Somewhere along the way, it became less about tools, systems, or ways to make our lives easier and more about our value. Productivity became transactional and on principle, and that's a recipe for burnout. There are 3 mindset traps I want to cover today about productivity, and I'm curious if these sound familiar. The first is productivity as worth. We've been taught to believe that we're only as valuable as what we get done. If you're constantly achieving, crossing things off your list, producing more and more, then you consider yourself good. But if you rest, slow down, or fall behind for any reason, suddenly you're not so good. You're lazy or not enough. That's not only not true, it's incredibly damaging. Our worth as humans has nothing to do with how many boxes we check. The second is productivity as currency. In this mindset, everything becomes a transaction. You can't rest unless you've earned it. You can't play unless you've finished all your work. You don't deserve joy, connection, or even basic self-care unless you've proven yourself first. This is why so many of us feel guilty about resting or doing something fun, especially when our work isn't done. And when is our work ever really done? We treat leisure time like a guilty pleasure we need to make up for, and we've been conditioned to think rest is a reward instead of a right. The third mindset trap is productivity as identity. This one hits especially hard for anyone who has tied their sense of self to what they do. If you aren't acting like the busy mom, the giving volunteer, the successful entrepreneur, the constant caregiver, or even simply the productive person everyone knows you as, well then, who are you? What value do you have? If your worth is wrapped up in being a specific type of person who gets things done, then slowing down feels like erasing your identity. And that's a terrifying place to be because there's a sense of loss in purpose and direction. Each of these mindsets fuel perfectionism, people-pleasing, and guilt. They're problematic and they also tank your productivity, ironically. See, because they keep pushing us beyond our limits. And while I could spend an entire episode on the negative health effects from chronic stress to nervous system dysregulation, with all roads leading to burnout, I'll simply remind you that this approach takes a toll on us emotionally and physically. And I have lots of other episodes that you can dig into to explore this more. I'll link episodes specifically on burnout and nervous system support in the show notes, and you may also want to look through the stress management playlist of the podcast. It's on the podcast page of the positivelyproductive.com website. There's information in there on chronic stress, on stress in general, stress when it's a good thing for you, and lots more. And on the podcast page, there's not only that playlist, but a number of other playlists, things like trauma and grief, playlists on solo episodes, strategy calls, you name it, all kinds of topics, as well as keyword searching. So if there's something that you're interested in that you hear today or on any episode, that's a great place to start searching to get the episodes that connect to what matters the most to you. Okay, now let's talk a bit about where this all comes from. Because in order to move beyond these mindset traps, we need to consider where the ideas came from. These beliefs are inherited. They're built into the systems we live and work in. Think about capitalism, which ties human value to output and profit. Consider the industrial age when everything was booming, and we understand why. We haven't gotten away from that. And the whole concept of that was measuring everything by efficiency, speed, and how much could be produced in as little time as possible. And now we're trying to do that in a completely different world that is absolutely overwhelming for us. But through all of this, the message has been loud and clear for generations. Your value is tied to what you can produce. And we've never gotten over that. And culturally, it's a constant thread throughout all of our conversations and everything that we value about us. We've absorbed sayings like time is money and do more with less and simply do more. When I created a mantra for the business, it's part of the mission and values. I actually said, do less, live more. Because for so long, we've perpetuated this idea that we have to do more and achieve more. We've glorified the hustle. We admire the person who works late, and they're the ones who get the raise, right, and the promotion. We are so impressed by those who burn the candle at both ends, the ones who never say no. And all of this is celebrated as strength when in reality, it's self-sacrifice that weakens us in the long run. And for what? When productivity is defined this way, corporations are actually the ones who win. Employers get more labor for less pay. Systems extract maximum effort without caring about long-term well-being. Now, I will say many companies are on the bandwagon now about wellness because they're realizing so many people have burnt out with all the demands that they're making. But when the bottom line is coming at you, what's going to be more important is what you produce and what you get done instead of you. The bottom line is that when this is perpetuated, it's the individual who loses in the long run. And to add insult to injury, not everyone loses equally. The groups who are harmed the most are often those who are already navigating extra challenges, like caregivers balancing home and work, or the chronically ill or disabled individuals managing limited energy and accessibility, or neurodivergent folks who are trying to fit into rigid structures of traditional productivity. And they're very much a reason that I am approaching productivity the way that I am and trying to keep it open for those who think and act differently. And then there are also marginalized groups who face systemic inequities on top of everything else. When productivity is defined by relentless output, those who can't or won't conform are labeled failures. But they're not failing, not by any means. It's the traditional productivity system that's failing them. This is where I want to flip the narrative. Productivity isn't the problem. The problem is the mindset and systems we've attached to it. So let's change that and reclaim what's good. For me, productivity is simply a tool. It's a way to help you do what matters most in a way that feels right and sustainable. It's not a measure of your worth, not a moral judgment, not a finish line you're supposed to cross to earn your place. That's why we talk here about shame-free productivity. It's an approach that asks, how can we create systems that support us, not punish us? How can we work with our energy, values, and goals instead of against them? And the brilliance is that it feels easier, but it's also more effective. You get more done with less energy, less time. So you still actually get to achieve those things, achieve that more that you wanted while making space for living your life fully. So this could look like honoring your energy cycles instead of pushing through. It might mean using flexible time blocking, or what I call flex blocking, to give structure without being so rigid, which is especially important for those who thrive on feeling free and having some semblance of control. It might mean using tools like a task triage to figure out what actually deserves your time and how that can change from day to day. Or maybe creating a joy list to make sure you are weaving fun and replenishment into your days, and you're energizing yourself to be most productive when the time is right. And most importantly, it means aligning your actions with your values. Because at the end of the day, productivity should help you create a satisfying life, which only you can define. It's meant to help you move toward what matters most to you. As we close this episode, let's come back to that idea suggested to me that productivity is dangerous. Is it? No, not inherently. But the mindset we attach to it can be. When productivity becomes a measure of our worth, a currency that we use to earn breaks, or the foundation of our very identity, it can hurt us. It becomes the very thing we need respite from, and it's not sustainable. If you've ever felt like the pursuit of productivity wasn't good for you, it's because you've been taught to ignore the most important aspect of personal productivity, you. You've inherited a mindset from a society that perpetuates these ideas, despite how damaging and ineffective they are. This mindset isn't serving you, and I encourage you to let it go. You can create systems that support your real life, honor your actual energy, and bring joy back into the process. And when you do create those systems, they will be so much more effective for you. Join me each week as we talk here. Join me in my dedication to helping us redefine productivity, making it shame-free, compassionate, and personal, so it becomes a tool for living well instead of proof of whether or not we deserve to do so. Thank you for joining me today. Your time is precious, and I'm honored you chose to spend it with me. If you have feedback or questions, you can find me through the Connect page of the positivelyproductive.com website. And if you're looking for any of the resources mentioned here, from books to products to training and more, go to positivelyproductive.com/resources.